Let's call her Rose. Rose because I can't think of any better fake name that describes how beautiful she is than a rose. She's intelligent and well brought up. I trusted her from day one because of the hard times she took me through before saying yes to my proposal. And when she finally said yes to me, I knew where our future was going to be. We were going to get married, have our own small family, myself and herself and our 2 kids, a boy and a girl. I introduced her to my parents immediately, and she also did the same. And our affair became pretty well known on both sides of the family. We decided not to waste much time before getting married. I was working as a sales officer for one of the international distribution companies. My career growth in that company had stalled. So I worked with them for almost 5 years, and within those 5 years, I had no chance of being promoted or being trained for even a bigger responsibility. I decided to leave and look for better opportunities. I didn't leave immediately. I found a new job before I tendered in my resignation. And fortunately for me, there was a power struggle in my new job. The day I reported to work, I was told to hold on for a while till these issues were resolved. Apparently, the manager who endorsed my appointment had been fired, and the new manager didn't think my service was needed. Now, I was left hanging. I couldn't go back to my former place, and I couldn't go forward either. I told Rose, and she was sympathetic. She told me, "These things happen for a reason. Let's trust the Lord for a miracle." So I trusted, hoping, praying that these things would happen for my own good. 4 months later, I was still at home. No salary for 4 months, and the new place kept telling me to hold on until further notice. Further notice took me through 9 months without a job and a consistent income. By this time, I had started looking for a new job, but nothing turned up. I was in this term of trouble that Rose came around seeking answers to when we were going to marry. I told her marriage between us has never been in doubt. Let's just sort my job situation out, and the next thing will be us getting married. Mostly she nods, indicating acceptance to my explanation. Some days she gets angry and tells me, "It's always about you and your job. What about me?" I couldn't blame her. What about her? I was in a hurry for anything to do to save some money. So I did little things, and little things only brought little money. It was enough to do anything. Soon it had been a year and 4 months since I had been home and unemployed. That was when I knew I was losing Rose. She hardly called or returned any of my missed calls. She hardly texted back, and she hardly came visiting. She stopped inquiring about my job situation. Everything went cold between us, but I didn't give up. I knew I had to find a job and all things would be settled. I called her one morning, just like I always did, and she didn't pick up, like she always did. Afternoon, I called her again. She didn't pick up. Called her in the evening. I called her in the night before I slept. She didn't pick up any of my calls. So I was angry. Very angry. I didn't think I deserved that from anyone, let alone from a woman I was planning to marry. The next day I went to see her in her house. I must admit I acted angrily and somehow said things I wouldn't have said on hindsight. But now, how was I supposed to act? The night she sent me a message, "This isn't working. We need a time out to think about this relationship. I know you want this to work and I don't want to lose you too. Let's begin assessing our priorities and know what we want." I agreed. I needed that time out too, to sort myself out with a job, a life, and my relationship. I agreed after 2 months we would come back together and decide whether we wanted to go on or not. 1 month later, Rose had her white wedding in a church, and the man she got married to wasn't me. This has been forever the shock of my life. The mystery of the whole thing was how she was able to plan a wedding that I wasn't able to get a hint of, all in a month. I cried. The pain got me paralyzed. I was totally broken. I wanted to pretend it didn't hurt, but it hurt me to the core. I wanted to be a man and walk around bold-faced, but I couldn't. Frailties of the incident were evident all over my face wherever I went. Months after her wedding, we met at a mutual friend's wedding. She confessed to me that she wasn't sure how and when I was going to marry her, most especially when I didn't have a job and when I didn't know how I was going to get to a job. So when her ex in the UK proposed, she accepted. She got married to him instead. I asked her, "So why didn't you ask for a breakup?" She answered, "I didn't know how to tell you." Well, I was disappointed. Not in her, but in myself. I wasn't a man enough to hold down a woman's trust. I moved on from that day. Got a job later in a different company and got married 2 years right afterwards. I live with my wife and 2 kids, a boy and a girl, just like I dreamed. The husband and Rose went back to the UK after the wedding. Never returned. She still wears her ring after 6 years of marriage. After 6 years of marriage, she had never laid next to the man she professed to love, better or worse. I don't know if she's happy, but I can imagine she's happy because that's the only reason she would still wear her ring.